Hey, Facebook. Come on into Periscope. This is Real Talk with Dr. V. There we go. All right, let me get my screen fixed. Who's on Facebook? Nobody. That's why they're too slow. I'm Dr. Duc Vuong, Director of Bariatrics in Albuquerque, author of Ultimate Gastric Sleep Success. I'll help you check this out. We got my lovely assistants, Katie and Aislinn here. Say hello.
Hi. Hello.
So, if you're catching me on Periscope, tap your screen, give me a bunch of hearts. And if your feed is slow, you can switch over to Facebook Live. If your Facebook Live feed is slow, you can switch over to Periscope, see how it looks. Try different modems for you. I'm a bariatric surgeon. Here's my name. I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This was back when I used to comb my hair right there. Now we're not doing it so much. All right. Hey, Dr. V, surgery scheduled. Steph Punkin. Awesome. Glad didn't hit. Hi, Inez. Busy Lizzie Lou. Big Beige. All right. So we're going to continue our series on ketones. I'm going to let you screenshot this if you missed it last night right there. That's my board. I'm going to erase it here in a second. All right. Nice thing about Periscopes, they're no longer erasing the videos, so you can still watch last night's broadcast. You can also watch the broadcast from Facebook Live on my page, as well as the support surgeon. We're going to wait for about 100 people to come into the Periscope, and I don't know, 100 people or so come onto Facebook. Where are we at on Facebook?
We're at 21 right now.
21. All right. And then click on the little white man right there in the corner, swipe up, share that broadcast for me. That'd be awesome. Invite your followers to follow me. You can do the same thing on Facebook. You can tap your screen for hearts. We're trying for 4 million hearts on Periscope and on Facebook. You can also hit the like button and heart button. Make me feel awesome. Robin Cox, thank you for sharing, inviting followers. Susan, my girl, thank you for inviting followers. Appreciate that. I hold the hot sun. Thank you for sharing on Twitter. Appreciate that. It's awesome. Hi, Dr. V. Sorry we missed class. Life happened before there was Tuesday, Robert and Elaine. Hey, that's your first time you missed. Don't let it become a pattern, my friend. It was a good group this week, though, man. I was on point, I think, and I was talking all sorts of practical stuff. So for those of you who don't follow me as a doctor, not one of my patients, I do regular weekly, twice a week meetings with my patients where I educate them on how to be successful with their weight loss surgery. So that's what I'm all about. I'm about patient education. We're going to get started because I got a meeting to go to. I always have meetings. What time are we at here?
Yeah, 6:06.
6:06. Perfect. Big 39 Mama. Hi, Sandra. Thank you very much. I'm going to do a quick 10-minute talk, 10-minute Q&A. This is a part of the series. I think I'm going to do a 4-part series. Last night, I gave you the basics on ketones. I hope you'll check that out. I'll talk to you at the Q&A afterwards. So, y'all got this? Because I'm going to erase it. Let me read it over, try to remember what I said last night. You know, I slept since then. I don't remember things all the time. All right, I think I got it. Okay. Excellent, excellent. So, question. Anyone remember what are ketones? Uh-oh, the green's on erasing. Tell me some answers. What are ketones? What are ketones? What are ketones? That's the question. Why try to erase? What are they saying on Facebook, Katie? What are ketones?
Nobody's answered your question.
Nobody's answered my question.
Energy.
That's lame. Don't be lame.
On Periscope, you're getting energy.
Energy. Nice. David Chavez. Good. Good,
Come
good,
on,
good.
Facebookers, where are you at?
Oh, they'll be on. Energy. Awesome. Brain fuel. I hold the hot sun. Don Chavez. Don is Don. Ketones. What are ketones? What are ketones? All right. So here we're going to talk about ketones in your body today. All right.
Energy.
Energy. Finally. Awesome. So your body uses glucose as your energy source. Okay? During times when there's a lack of glucose, insufficient glucose, either during times of fasting or extreme exercise or real low carb diet like Atkins diet, and your glucose levels are real low, that's sugar, glucose is a fancy word for sugar, that's found in junk food, breads, pastas, it's found in fruits, some fruits, you know, that's your sugar. That's your main energy source. But during periods of starvation, extreme exercise, Atkins diet, etc., when your blood glucose is scarce, your body has a second line of energy source called ketones. what I'm going to do tonight is talk about how ketones are produced. I kind of talked about that last night. And then I'm going to talk about how it's happening into what it does to your body. Katie, that was an ugly face. You made a face like you smelled a bad fart or something.
The camera got blurry, so I was trying to fix
camera
it.
got
And
blurry.
it turned around on my face.
All right. So I'm going to answer these questions on Periscope and Facebook here in a little bit. Feel free to ask amongst yourselves. Okay, so how are ketones made? Remember, this is when glucose is scarce. This is very important because I'm about to talk about something different, DKA. So when when glucose is scarce, your liver takes up free fatty acids, that's fat, FFA, you got to remember that, free fatty acids, and the free fatty acids come from your fat cells. What are fat cells? That's your extra little beer belly, your junk in your, here you go Katie, your junk in your trunk down in here.
What junk?
My junk in my trunk. You know, the extra fat cells in your body, and also the fat, here write this down, the fat inside your belly, the fat inside your body, your abdominal fat, your omental fat, okay, the fat inside, those cells start to release the free fatty acids into your bloodstream, which are then taken up by your liver, and then your liver, through a series of processes, make ketones. Okay? Then ketones go out into your blood, and they get taken up and used by your cells. Okay? Got that? But here's what has to happen. You have to have low glucose, which also means, this is important, low insulin. Insulin is the hormone that makes glucose goes inside of your cells. Does that make sense, insulin? When you eat a sugary meal, your insulin goes high. That drives the glucose into your cells to get used up for energy. Okay? When you have been fasting, not eating, when you have extreme exercise, when you're on the Atkins diet, you have low insulin, low glucose, and so therefore your body starts making ketone bodies. When you have ketone bodies in your blood, that's the condition called ketosis. These are fancy words. I'm trying to make it very simple. Ketosis. Now, why is this important? This is not DKA. This is not diabetic ketoacidosis. Diabetic ketoacidosis is a bad state. We don't want to have diabetic ketoacidosis. If you're confused about what ketones are, you can rewatch the video from yesterday, okay? It's still stored on Facebook as well as on Periscope. Okay, so diabetic ketoacidosis is bad. This happens, and here's the difference that people get confused about ketosis versus DKA. DKA happens usually, not always, but in type 1 diabetics, usually, not always. You can get it in type 2 also. But the condition is you're going to have high glucose, but also high ketones. That spills into your blood system, and it really causes dehydration. That's the main problem with DKA. It's not the blood sugars and the ketones inside your body. It causes an acid state called acidosis. That's what makes you get dehydrated. That's the main issue with DKA. DKA is actually a water issue, not a sugar issue. Now, for those of you out there that are diabetic, you might not understand that because a lot of you have been taught that you got to watch your ketones, you got to watch your blood sugar levels. But if you ever go into DKA, you've got to you're dehydrated, you got to go to the emergency room right away. The doctors are going to flush your system with a bunch of saline. That's what that means. Okay, so does that make sense? Okay, I want to pause for a second. Let y'all screenshot that. Go ahead, you do that. Y'all can screenshot that because I'm going to erase that, all right? Does that make sense? There we go. We can block users. That's all right. No big deal there. Okay, so in low insulin, low glucose, your body through the liver makes ketones. So now you have this these ketones that your body uses for energy. So you're basically, ketones are nothing more than a secondary energy source for your body. Does that make sense? Ketones is nothing but an energy source for your body, period. And let me write this very properly so you understand. It's a natural energy source for your body. Does that make sense? Someone repeat that for me on Periscope. Ketones are a natural energy source for your body that your body naturally makes when you don't have enough blood sugar. It will naturally make ketones and we'll use it. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so now where is it used? And this is the main talk tonight, that what we're going to talk about. All right, natural energy source. Awesome, love it. Thank you very much. So it gets used by your brain. I'm going to come back to this one because that's important. It also gets used by your heart. And lastly, your skeletal muscle. Other organs, but these are the main ones, okay? So how does ketones help your body is tonight's Periscope Facebook Live video. And I'm going to cover these three and we'll be done, okay? Man, you know, like the problem with like Periscope, these users need to get better. Periscope's got to get better with some of their users, man. All right? All right, so I don't think Periscope's going to be around very long. I'll be honest with y'all. Anyone watching who's like one of the leaders of Periscope, I'm going to tell you, you guys have problems. I love Periscope, but Facebook Live is going to take over, you know? Too many knuckleheads. Okay, so, was that it? All right, let's get to how ketones help your body. So, skeletal muscle. Remember, you make ketones when you have low energy source or you have extreme exercise. True? So, if you have extreme exercise, skeletal muscle, your ketones is going to help you with your exercise because it's the next energy source. So, extreme fitness people, marathon runners, all right? Okay, bodybuilders, because actually it's used by bodybuilders, because it's used by skeletal muscle, you will bulk up. You can gain muscle weight in ketosis. That's true. That's proven. And then the other thing that works really well is recovery. So have you ever had like a really hard workout? You're working really, really hard, okay? And you're exhausted afterwards. You know, ketones will help you with recovery, okay? Now your heart. How does ketones help your heart? Well, again, during extreme exercise, your primary energy source for your heart is actually fatty acids, but it can also use ketones. So when your heart is really beating really fast, when you're doing extreme exercise, your heart can use ketones as an energy source. Okay? But the last thing I want to talk about is the brain. And this one's a little controversial. Okay? So I'm going to make my disclaimer. I know I'm a doctor, I'm a surgeon, but I'm not your doctor. And I'm not giving you medical advice, despite what you might think, okay? So this is not medical advice. I do not have a doctor-patient relationship with you. I'm just explaining things for you that you can easily Google and find out for yourself. Difference is I'm trying to make it much simpler for you. So, what's special about the brain? There is something called the blood-brain barrier. Is this good or bad to have a blood-brain barrier? What do you guys think? Good or bad to have a blood-brain barrier? It's really good. Why? Because you don't want any old thing going into your brain, right? You want glucose, you want ketone, you want things that are good for your brain. You don't want bad, toxic things crossing the blood-brain barrier. Unfortunately, there are a few things. You know, alcohol, obviously, crosses the blood-brain barrier. Is that true? True, Katie?
Yep.
Yep. True, Aislinn?
Yep.
How would you know? You're too young to drink.
I guess.
But blood-brain barrier, alcohol, you know, some drugs, right? Obviously. Unfortunately, some viruses will cross the blood-brain barrier, but not macronutrients, right? So protein does not cross, I don't think. But ketones will. So what does that mean? That means ketones can be used as an energy source for your brain, which I've already said, energy source for your brain. Now, who here could use more energy for your brain? Anybody? Who wants a dead, tired brain? Nobody, right? Who can function with a dead brain? Maybe just your mother-in-law and your husband, but that's about it. Your teenagers, that's about it. But the rest of us, we need more fuel for the brain. Is that true? You need more fuel for your brain. So, here's the medical part that I want to disclaim about. If you understand that ketones can become an alternative fuel source for your brain, now you're looking at improved focus. Isn't that true? Improved focus. Anyone ever suffer with mind fog in the morning? You have mind fog in the morning? Or you kind of groggy, right? A little mind fog. Maybe you didn't sleep that well. Ketones can be used in your brain to help with focus, clarity. I guess that's part of focus. Okay. Now this is where the medical disclaimer. There are research areas. I'm not saying that I recommend this. Again, I'm just telling you there's new research. There's actually pretty old research on this too. But been shown, they're studying it for depression. Ketones to help with depression. To help with seizure disorder is a major one. They're currently studying seizure disorder and ketones. Having ketones help ease seizure disorders. Also studies with Alzheimer's. Possibly ketones helping alleviate or improve conditions with Alzheimer's. Now, if your dad or your mom or your loved one is suffering from his Alzheimer's, I'm not telling you to go take a bunch of ketones. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just wanting you to know that there's research in this area right now. Strong research in Alzheimer's, promising research with seizure disorders, but also, honestly, depression, okay? This is a huge area of research. One more thing and then I'll stop. Because it's all kind of tied in together. Ketones are also proving to be a very powerful anti-inflammatory. And that's kind of a teaser for tomorrow. Inflammatory. You love how I write? All right. And tomorrow's talk, it's Thursday, I'll be on at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I'm going to talk about the anti-inflammatory benefits of ketones and how that is correcting this, okay? Does that make sense what I'm doing? I'm doing a whole series for y'all, Facebook Live, Periscope, where yesterday's talk was on the basics of ketones, how it comes. Today I kind of talked about the benefits. Tomorrow I'm going to again talk about the benefits of the anti-inflammatory stuff. And then the last one, maybe on Friday night, I'm going to talk about how you get your body into a natural ketotic state, natural ketosis, without going into DKA. Sound good? All right, so that's the end of my talk. I'm going to move the camera over for you to screenshot. Go ahead and screenshot that because you're going to be mad at yourself if you don't later. I'm going to hold that real close for you, steady there. So screenshot that, awesome. I'm going to take a real quick, I got to get my daughters here. I got to get my daughter to dinner. So one more time, I'm Dr. Duc Vuong, Director of Bariatrics in Albuquerque, author of Ultimate Gastric Sleep Success. It's available on Amazon. I hope you check this out. I have lots of books. I've produced 10 books. I'm about patient education. I do a lot of free materials for you. Follow me on Facebook. I publish a lot of new videos and I do a lot of excerpts. My new book on 366 Tips for a Healthy You is phenomenal. It's at the publishers. Stay tuned. Follow me on Facebook. We will announce book signings. Thank you guys so much for the hearts. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Is Facebook Live giving me a lot of hearts there, Katie? What are they doing over there? Yeah, not so much. What's wrong,
Not
Facebook?
like Periscope does.
Wow.
Facebook,
All right. Periscope will give me 50,000 hearts, man. So keep going, you know. Facebook Live, they're getting used to it. You guys are getting used to it. You know, I had a long day in the office. I could be home and be like, hey, screw this. I'm just going to go sit and meditate. But I don't.
I know.
Do I? Now they're coming. Now you got to ask for it. Share the broadcast. Hey, do me a favor, Facebook. Share this broadcast with your friends, because this could change. This could change you. You know, Periscope, please share this broadcast. Invite followers. To do that, swipe on the little white man in the corner. Swipe up. I'm going to take 5 minutes worth of questions. All right? I am thinking about Keto OS. You know, I don't endorse any sort of exogenous products right now. I will talk about exogenous products in the next couple of videos. So keep watching me tomorrow nights at 5. All right? And thank you for everything. You're welcome. All right. Any questions on Facebook?
Not yet.
Not yet. My new book on lap band revisions is the only book on the market regarding lap band revisions. So you can check that out on Amazon. It's on Kindle, $10, $9.99. You can really get a lot of questions answered. It's a big book. It's got a bunch of pictures and drawings for you, you know, in case you're wanting to know what's happening. All right, cool. Oh, I think I just lost my feet. All right, so what are the questions we have? I don't have anything coming up on Periscope. A lot of hearts, though. All right, blood ketone only showing 0.6, good or bad? That's a relative question. T Leaf 89. A lot of that depends on your muscle composition, how much fat you have, but also especially what type of diet you're eating, and also how insulin resistant you are. So I can't answer that question for you. What I would tell you, Tea Leaf, is that real question is, how do you feel? If you feel good, you're good. All right? Thank you for that question. So tomorrow night's broadcast will be at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I got to take my girl to Cliffs. I got to go on some roller coasters. What do you think about fasting, Doc? If you're going to fast, I want you to do it in a healthy way. By that, I mean I want you to understand what you're doing if you're going to fast, and why you're doing it. I heard something by Tim Ferriss. If you don't follow Tim Ferriss, shout out to Tim Ferriss. Okay? It's Tim, F-E-R-R-I-S. He does the 4-hour work week, 4-hour body. He says he intermittently fasts, and he gave the best answer to why he fasts that I've ever heard. I'm thinking about trying it. You want to hear it? He says he fasts because he wants to experience and control hunger. So if he fasts and he allows himself to get hungry, he can put himself into a mental state where hunger doesn't bother him. So that when he's not fasting, if he ever gets hungry, it's not the end of the world. He knows what to do. It's no big deal for him. I think that's very powerful. I'm going to teach my patients that eventually, but I'm not quite there yet. Hey, this is not about Tim Ferriss. He can get his own damn broadcast, right? But
we have a question over here.
What's the question on Facebook?
If you are chronically relying on ketones, does it have a risk to the body?
If you're chronically relying on ketones, that depends. Are you mean exogenous ketones, or do you mean a diet low in carbs? I'm going to talk about that in the next couple of broadcasts. I don't think it's going to be bad for you long term. In fact, I would tell you the opposite. Eating the typical American diet of fast food, burgers, fries, junk food, sodas, red meats, bacon, that sort of stuff, chronically long term, that's going to be worse for you. Eating junk food and processed foods long term is going to be worse for you than being in ketosis, if that makes sense. Sound good? Sound like a good answer for you there? All right, one more question on Periscope, and then I'm going to go. One more question on Facebook, then I'll go. Looking forward to seeing you. How can I use this supplement? What you teach in your book, Big Beige. I want you to, for right now, buddy, just focus on things I teach you in the book. You'll get to this later, after you've had your weight loss surgery, and we get to that inches girls phase. We can talk about that later, because remember, it's fat burning. Last question on Facebook.
A couple of people asked, does ketosis help with hunger?
Does ketosis help with hunger? The answer is possibly. Most likely yes. Most likely because it controls your insulin regulation and glucose regulation. But what you have to understand is that it's not one thing. It's complex. Again, it's how insulin resistant your body is, what sort of percentage of body fat you are versus how lean muscle you are. And then finally, the last thing is what I teach my patients is this is important for periscopers. Remember, it's natural to be hungry. It's unnatural to be full. You will not be very successful with your weight loss or your wellness struggles if you're always trying to not be hungry. You have to let yourself get hungry. And that's a truth. It is unnatural to be full. Do not chase fullness. Okay? All right? Y'all got that? That was my Periscope and my broadcast. I'll see you tomorrow night at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. All right? Follow me on Facebook. Check me out on Periscope. I tweet a little bit. One more time for you to screenshot that. And I'll get back to some more Dr. V stuff. I'll tie it in at the, over the next week or so. I will keep this up for next week. I'm going to wrap it all up nice for y'all so that you can kind of understand that. Share the broadcast, and this can explain a lot for people. You guys are going to start hearing a lot about ketones in the next 6 months, probably January, this new year. You're going to hear a lot about ketones, and you're going to say, hey, Dr. Vuong talked about that. That skinny ass Asian talked about that, back in the summer, back in July. You know where to get it. Okay? Cool beans? Thank you guys very much. See you later, Facebook. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye, Periscope. Inez, thank you. Bye-bye.